Um, yeah, listen, thanks for doing this. I really appreciate it. It's great. I think there's a lot of things I liked about the Norwegian sanction last year. I think like there there was a cool vibe of like kind of tightness. Like it was nice and like it was a spectacle, but it was still like seemed very close knit and very I don't know what you call it. Like it was kind of boutique compared to some of the other sanctionals. I think Filthy kind of had that a bit as well, where it was like there was a real community feel to it.
Yeah, that was the plan and the idea of first off doing something different, and if we do something different, try to make it really like a community event and really to feel that this pure CrossFit for everybody. And
Mm,
yeah, this was we were really happy how it ended up. So yeah.
yeah. Do you drink a lot of coffee?
Huh?
Do you drink a lot of coffee?
No,
None, just Nocco.
I drink Noco.
Yeah.
I'm actually that person that have never tasted a cup of coffee.
What?
What?
Like never, not even like someone else had when you taste it. Why is it? Do you not like the smell or something?
I like the smell a lot.
Would the next logical step not be to taste it and see if you like
But I
that?
tasted, then it didn't taste like it was smelling.
Okay, I get you.
But I live from my hometown in Sweden. I'm Swedish.
Yeah.
I live in Norway, and my hometown, my parents' apartment is 50 meters from the most famous coffee maker in Sweden, Ovalia.
So you have
So
constant
every time
nice
you go out,
visibility.
it's every time you go out, you smell the coffee.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And what's it like? So I had Kristen and Andrea on, and they were kind of praising the Norwegian coffee scene. Like, are you even conscious of anything like that then if you don't drink it? I assume you still hang out with people who drink coffee. You know what I mean?
I worked in the restaurant business, the nightclub business for many years. So I have made a lot of coffee, and I'm a barista. I actually am a barista. So I know a lot about coffee, and I know
So is it
CrossFit
hard? Is it
people also.
hard then if you're a barista and you're so I know a lot of baristas they'll dial in their machine first thing in the morning. They'll like make sure everything's tasting all right or whatever. So you're just like, oh, it tastes fucking horrible. It must be working okay.
No, it's the smell and the feeling, and all the staff they like coffee, so I make
Yeah,
coffee for
yeah,
them.
that's fair.
It's the same thing for me for when I make food. I don't eat fish. I don't eat so much vegetables, and but I'm really good at making food, and even food that I don't like, so I can still appreciate or understand the tastes. And as a former bartender, it's the same thing. You can understand the taste, but you don't really. It's the same in CrossFit programming.
Mm.
Like you don't like all the workouts, but you understand why they make it and then what you want to do, and you can still do nice programming except without actually like it.
Yeah, that's true. Why did you move to Norway from Sweden?
The girl, the wife,
That's
but
fair.
she's Swedish as well. She want to go to Norway for work for 6 months and make some extra cash. Then she would go to Thailand for a year or two. So it was the plan was 6 months. Now it's 8 years. So
No
yeah.
regrets, though, right?
I love Norway. Norway is it's a nice company, a nice country for making your own business. It's a nice country for having new ideas and be able to do them and be able to be creative and be able to. They really support people that want to do something. They
Yeah.
want this guy want to work. Let him work.
Yeah.
Give him money. Let him work.
Yeah.
Sweden are a little bit different. They like, oh, you want to work. You want to be a good guy. Oh, that's dangerous. He's going to take our job.
Okay.
It's a little bit totally different, even if you're really, really close. So yeah.
Do you listen to a lot of podcasts?
Yeah, yeah, a lot of different kinds. Everything from I'm a daddy in 13 days. Who's counting? And CrossFit for sure, and training and health, and I listen to a lot of vlogs on YouTube because I like movies. So I
Yeah.
look Marvel, actors and actors, and all that.
How do you feel about your impending arrival then, about this baby coming?
Hmm?
How do you feel about the baby coming?
It's like I think I'm ready. I think I'm as ready as you can be, and I'm really excited. And I see it as I see it like so many people are telling their stories, complaining, not complaining. It's going to change your life. You will never be able to train again. You will never be able to be a person for the first 3 years. And me and my wife, she's she did Miko's triangle 3 days ago. She did a nice deadlift, clean, and burpee biker workout yesterday, and she's like in doomed 13 days.
Yeah.
So we're pretty ready, and we are excited to see the truth behind being a parent.
Yeah, I
Is it?
think like you get out of it what you put in. I think like it's the same as everything else. If you go into it with the attitude of like, oh, here we go, my life's fucking over now for the next few years, I'm
Mm,
sure it will be like, you know, it's the same as if you're coming home from work and you're telling yourself you're too tired to train, then yeah, you're just telling yourself, you know, you're gonna it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. Like, so if you go into it with the attitude of like, oh, I'm gonna be so fucking tired, I'll never be able to do that again, yeah, you probably will be, because it's like letting that voice take over. Like, yeah, I'm pretty fucking tired, but like I still go to the gym, I still see my friends, I still
mm.
go to work or whatever. Like, but I think the big shift I've noticed is that like other stuff becomes so much less like important. Like other stuff becomes like kind of obstacles in the way of getting home. Like, you know, whereas before I would have been like, oh, if I'm not home till 7 or 8 o'clock in the evening, I don't really care. Whereas now when I'm at work, as soon as I get to work, I'm like, right, 5 hours and I get to go home. Like, you know, like my mindset has shifted to there's inconveniences in the way of family time. Whereas before it was like family time made up a bit of my day. Whereas now, because of the baby, it's like everything else is kind of in the way a little bit, and I want to get home faster. And like
What's the age of your baby?
she's like 9 months old.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
Congratulations.
thank you. Yeah, no, it is. It's good. It like I think the shift in mindset is the biggest thing that I've noticed. And I know one of my friends had a baby around the same time, and he said the same thing to me. He was like, "Work is a total fucking inconvenience now." Whereas before it was like, you know, it took up 90% of your week was taken up at work because,
Mm.
oh, I have to get this shit sorted. I have to get that shit sorted. And now it's kind of like, yeah, I finished work an hour ago. I don't want to think about it again until I wake up tomorrow morning and have to go and do it again. Like, you know?
Yeah, I understand. Uh, we have a good way of approaching the whole pregnancy, and we do it as a team.
Hmm.
We do it as everything. And my wife, she doesn't like pizza. She doesn't like junk food. She doesn't like. That's not a go-to thing if she feels bad. Go through go-to thing for her if she feels bad is
Hmm.
like sleep or fruit or exercise.
Yeah.
So when she got her craving, and she didn't have a cravings, she had like when she feels like she's down, she visits friends or take a walk or do some exercise. So she didn't have any cravings, anything either. So we had the first 13 weeks she went down 8 kilos. So she lost 8 kilos. So she was really bad. But after that, she was stable, and from the week 14, she's been like perfect pregnancy. So
Yeah, I think I was really excited about, like, selfishly, I was like, oh, it's going to be great now when pregnancy really kicks in. She's going to want so much chocolate, and so there's going to be so much shit in the house. And like, literally didn't want anything. I was fucking
I
raging about it.
bought them all.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I was like, I'm gonna be the best daddy to be you can be. I went to the shop, a big grocery shop. I bought all, everything. I like 300 euros, 400 euros of things she probably would have craving on. And it's ended up that I had to eat it up.
So
So
she lost 8 kilos and you gained 8 kilos.
yeah, almost. I was like the first 3 months was like bad training for me because it was the COVID-19 beginning,
Mm.
and I had to eat all those calories, those 50,000 calories I bought.
Um, Social media is like, I think it's becoming increasingly important for, like, say, athletes and event organizers and people like that, especially with COVID and stuff. Like, there was a lot of initiatives started up. Like, I know you were kind of involved with the United movement and stuff like that. And I suppose, like, trying to stay in touch and maintain momentum of brands that are built up, and relationships that are built up. Is that something that you've, like, that's kind of kept you busy during, say, the last 8 9 months?
Yeah, for me it was early in the COVID-19 situation when they break out and it started with the lockdowns. I'm a pretty restless guy, so and I love my training, but I don't love training. I love CrossFit, and it's not the way that the community and you are part of something. And I talk to my friends. I'm doing the training, guys. I do burpees and air squats in the living room. I don't do burpees and air squats in the living room just for do my training. Sorry, I'm too lazy. I'm too. That's not my thing. I don't have that motivation. So my wife told me, if you don't figure something out, I'm gonna kick you out, because I was like all over the place. And then I was, I, me and a friend is like, let's do a competition based on the home, what you have at home. So I did the living room throwdown, Norwegian living room throwdown.
Yeah, yeah.
And and I think I'm gonna do it like it's a sanctional. So I did a logo, I did a competition corner, I did everything, and I launched it and I called Phil Haskett. Hey Phil, do you want to program my ID? What? Living room throwdown. He was like, ah, who's gonna join? I don't know, maybe 100 people, and just for fun. He was like, okay, I can do it, whatever. And we did it together. We had 8,600 people.
That's mad.
So I was busy the first worst months of COVID. Was the living room throwdown. After that was uh, the living room throwdown was something that the United movement and the CrossFit homepage was like build off, because
Mhm.
everything started with the living room, and the CrossFit talked to me and Matt O'Keefe and Darina, and everybody was like, let's do something more. This is a super idea. Let's do something bigger. And so the social media parts and the United movement and CrossFit and living room throwdown and a couple of other online social media based competition or activities was like survival for me,
Mhm.
to keep my fitness alive. Uh,
Yeah.
Otherwise, I will. And I'm at 193 centimeters and almost 100 kilo guy. So air squats and burpees, or that's not my thing. But now that's almost my strength in CrossFit. So burpees and air squats and box jumps and step ups and all that thing that I really really hate before is like, bring it, because I compete a lot as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
Hmm.
You were doing qualifiers, was it, the other day, or was that an online competition?
I was doing there was a competition for in here in Norway. It was an online competition,
How did that
Battle of
go?
West. Battle of West. So it was. I'm 40, so I'm turning 40 in October in a couple of days. So all the other guys was 20, 25, 26, 27. So we went. We ended up in 16th place of 32. Uh, and we only did one and done. So I
Oh
think we
yeah.
could maybe get a little bit better, but yeah, yeah. Well, it went good. I'm happy. We're happy. We are old guys, and other guys are young. So we had one goal is to beat the young fit guys in our gym, and
Yeah, yeah.
we were gonna beat him in one workout, and we did that in the first workout. So it was
Job
yeah.
done. What was your pre-CrossFit then? Had you any sporting interests like before you started training CrossFit, or was that your
For me, it's like I did training, Thai boxing and football for many years when I was a young guy, and I stopped training actually. Did some Thai boxing or played football for fun. I lived in Greece for 7 years in Rhodes Island. I had an accident, a motorbike accident. So I was in a wheelchair for 1 year and went on crutches for 3 years. And I lost some kilos. I was 58 kilos.
was
So
there has there been any say long-term effects of that? Like a year is a long time to be in a wheelchair.
3 years, yeah.
And was there any long-term effects? Like say now, do you ever have any?
Yeah, I have like from the insurance company, I have 17% invalid or whatever its name is.
Yeah.
So I lost 10 centimeters of bone in my leg, and I break my shoulder, and I tied off my quad muscle, and my hand broke. So the doctors told me 2011, Roger, you will never walk without crutches. You will always have crutches. You have to accept it. Otherwise, you will get depressed. And my daddy told me, hey, we will not accept that. Let's do it. Let's try it. And I was 58 kilos. We started at the gym. We started doing training. And so it was like something I had to do to survive. And today it's my way of life. It's
Mm.
my big passion of life. So I didn't do so much weightlifting. I never done so much weightlifting, or I did body weight training of football and Thai boxing. And
Mm.
so CrossFit and all these lifting things is some really new for me. I've done it for 4 or 5 years now, and but the body control, like handstand walk and muscle ups and handstand push-ups, all that is pretty easy for me. I learned it really fast. So this heavy lifting that is not my thing, but I can control it pretty good, power
Okay.
side. So yeah.
And the Norwegian Championships then, was it like, did you spot a gap in the market, or was it a case of like you had something and it kind of grew and then kind of evolved into the championships?
The thing is, I come from nightclub business. I did nightclubs and concerts and big shows, and that's where I come from. For
Mm.
20 years experience doing massive events, 10,000 people, 15,000 people, 20,000 people. And when I started with CrossFit, I started with a competition only 2 weeks after I started. And I was like in a competition in Sweden. And it's like, oh, fuck, I love this.
Yeah.
This is my thing. And when I came home to Norway, I was like, let's do a competition in Norway. I was really bad. But I still love, I always love to compete.
Yeah.
So I went to a competition in Norway. It was so bad. It was like, for me as an event guy, I was like, it was bad for the public. It was bad for the judges. It was bad for the athletes. It was bad for the sponsors. It was bad for everybody. It was like anybody else doing something better. And Norway was like, it was small competitions, and there was some where the best athletes went to, but it's still, I felt like you could do it so much better if you put some extra effort. And so early in my first year of CrossFit, I arranged my first CrossFit competition. It was 80 athletes outside Oslo, 10 minutes. It was really, really good. Really happy. I learned a lot. So for me, I started small and I went to 150 athletes, or 250 athletes, or 350 athletes. And then I moved from the city up to the ski resort at a summer event. And when I started with the marketing for the summer event, I did it international focus. So everything was in English. I read a lot of movies and some cash for the prize pool. Then I got a call from CrossFit. They asked me if I was interested of being a part of the sanctional series.
Was that on your radar before they asked?
I would lie if I would say no,
Yeah.
but I will never believe that it will go so fast. My first thing was like, maybe I will try to get licensed by CrossFit, just because I want to do CrossFit and I really support CrossFit. I love CrossFit because that helped me a lot from my injury and everything. But of course, the prime thing to do of a CrossFit organizer is a sanctional, or games. So it was pretty easy choice for me to accept it, and the extra thing you have to do as a sanctional, the size and everything, I didn't see any problems because I have done it, but not in CrossFit. I have done it in concerts or whatever rests. I'm not afraid of live stream. I'm not afraid of international travels, or because that was the biggest thing, was to get 31 different countries up to a mountain outside Norway. It's not like 5 minutes outside Oslo. It's like 3 hours up in the mountain, 1,001 meters up, and like 10 minus and 5 meters snow. So
you had Phil Hesketh program the event. How did you end up linking up with him, or what started that relationship?
that was actually, I did a lot of programming myself in the beginning, or from the beginning of my competitions, but then I felt I want to do something. I need to be sure that I'm doing the right thing. Now it's like really the next level. And I'm a fan of pure old school CrossFit. I like open workouts. I like benchmarks. I like hero workouts. That's my thing. I really enjoy that kind of programming. And I heard of Phil, and Phil was in a team with Cindy Krogstad, Ellebro, och me. And I know Cindy and Ellebro from early. And I met them in Lowlands. I was there I was invited by the guys from Lowlands, Robbie. And I was starting to talk to Sin at the competition. Who's going to do your program? I don't know yet, but you should talk to Phil. And he do programming? Yeah, he has to prepared. And I was like asking around, and I was reading about it, and I saw it was really focused on pure CrossFit. And it says like OG, old school CrossFit dude. And I was like, hey, Phil, you want to talk about programming Norwegian CrossFit Championship? He went, hell yeah. So it was like, we just met in the stairs at the competition, and like, okay, I really like your vibe, and he really want to do a program, a sanctional event. So I do often I feel the vibe when I tell something, hey, dude, you want to do a podcast with me? I don't know. I don't know if I have time. Okay, fuck it, next time.
Yeah.
If you ask me, you want to do podcast? Yeah, absolutely. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Then I want to do it. You want to do it. it's difficult to be bad. So
Yeah.
and so I'm really happy with Phil. He's a really good guy, and he's like the totally opposite from me.
How do
He's
you mean
like
he's the opposite?
he's so calm, almost annoying, and he walk slow, but he's tough.
If someone's walk is pissing you off, then
It's like sometimes like, hey, let's walk faster. You're like games athlete. You should be
yeah,
like fast everywhere.
you should sprint
He's
everywhere.
fast when it 3, 2, 1, go. He's fast.
Yeah, yeah,
Let's take a walk. He's slow.
yeah. Saves his
But yeah,
energy.
and I walk fast, and I am fast, and I live fast, and I talk fast, and I talk a lot. And he's like, Roger, you talk so much. And I, yeah. So
Um,
that's good. That's
as an organizer, then, like, so if you're obviously you've got, I suppose, you've got two hats on when you're at the event. So you've got like the organizer, the person who like needs it to be a success and needs it to be the best event it can be or whatever. But then you've also got like a CrossFit fan hat on where you want to see a good event and you want to see like people throw down and you've got that kind of the giddiness about the event, I suppose, as well. Like as an organizer, what was your favorite event of the competition and why was it your favorite?
I like concepts. So the that event was my. I told Phil, I really wanna use 3 machines at the same event, and I wanna do something like acid bat on Dubai.
Yeah.
I wanna really do something like that. And
Yeah.
he was like, okay, let me think about something. And we played around with some things and ended up with this 5,000 meter biker, and you have to do X reps on the minutes. And I actually did that event on the competition because there was an empty slot, and I was, fuck it, I have to feel it. So I often do that. I
Yeah.
often, if there's an empty slot, I jump in to feel the programming, feel how it feels for the athletes, and and for me as a organizer, that's I think that is something that gives me a full understanding of how it feels from the spectator, how it feels from the athlete, how it
Mm.
feels to be a judge, how it feels to be a partner as a sponsor. And I think all those 4 parts is equal important
Yeah.
for the future of the sport CrossFit.
Mm.
So me as an organizer, and I compete maybe if outside COVID-19 times, I compete 5, 6, 7 times a year
Mm.
from all over the world. I was like in UK and compete, and been in Miami. I was in Sweden, Norway, Denmark, Finland. So and so I think I think I have a good understanding what does what makes a good competition for all parts. As a fan, as an athlete, as a spectator, as a sponsor, or as a staff.
Mm.
So all parts is so important.
Yeah, I think Jamie from Filthy was like he was adamant that like the athlete comes first. Like they have to okay, maybe they're not going to enjoy it, but like they have to have a good experience of the event. Like they have to feel like they're valued and feel like they're, that it's running smoothly for them is like that's the cornerstone number one. And cornerstone number two is that like the spectators have enjoyment as well, that there's, that the programming is good, that it's exciting for them, that the spectacle is good, like that you're able to see everything, that everyone can see everything and that it's enjoyable. And then after that is like the staff, like the volunteers, do they know what their job is and are they able to do their job? Like, are they put in a position to do their job, I suppose. But it's always interesting because like I suppose from a spectator's point of view, I'd never think about the athletes' experience of the weekend. Like I'd always think about like whether or not I'm enjoying it as a spectator, and then I suppose on the flip side, when I've competed, I couldn't give two fucks what the spectators are thinking. Like I'm pure, it's purely like, am I warming up and cooling down and warming up again because it's running late, or am I, that kind of stuff. So I think it's funny, the what you're saying there echoes a lot of what he said as well, where um and we kind of talked about the similarities between the two events, that kind of community feel to it as
Yeah.
well.
And me, I know Jamie a lot, and Darina even more. We talk a lot, maybe once a week, and super guys, and really irritating that I missed their event. I was invited, but yeah, it's so important, all the parts, and more and more events are starting to understand it and starting to understand the importance of all parts, not
Mm.
only the athlete or not only the spectators or the sponsors or the live stream. Or and we did an event actually 2 months ago. Around we did a live event in Norway with 120 athletes,
Is that the
and
one with the massive oversized dumbbell? Was that one?
no,
Where it was Kristen Holte and a few of those at it? No, it was outside.
outside.
Wasn't it like Andreas Solberg and Kristen
No,
Holte?
that was an event in Sweden,
Oh, okay.
Battle of Värmland.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
Norwegian Throwdown, the summer event. We did that one, and that was the first time I programmed. We did the programming was not based on the spectators.
Okay.
We did a little bit different because we couldn't have more than 40 people watching because of the regulations in Norway. So it was a little bit more easy to program because you don't have to think about the the flow,
Mm.
how people will understand it. And we had it on live, but we had only had it as a super easy one mobile
Yeah,
was
yeah.
on shooting it on Facebook. So and it was different how to think a little bit more for the athlete and thinking about the athlete and the staff. And we
Mm.
didn't have any sponsors either, so we only had the Alico. Alico was there, so that's our new sponsors, the same as 5150.
It's not a bad one to have, in fairness. Nice gear.
Huh?
It's not a bad one to have, in fairness. They have nice gear.
Pretty nice gear, yeah. You can't complain about that part, and it's a really good company, and
Yeah.
they're really gonna support CrossFit the coming years. They're gonna put more effort into the CrossFit community, so it's gonna be good.
When you were organizing and arranging the event then, and like even say just building the profile of the event and moving it along the different stages that you mentioned earlier on, like maybe, trying to entice international athletes and coaches and spectators and stuff, like when you look back on that, like what were the major challenges do you think that you faced?
For me, it was to simplify how they can travel over there because I had people from Africa, I had people from Mexico, United States, Canada, UK, Europe, for all over the world. 35 different countries going to find their way to Norway to Gardermoen, the airport, and then they're going to find their way up to the. And so many people want to go. No, we don't need it because we arrange buses from the airport. Now we're going to rent a car. Okay, have you driven on ice, not snow, ice, and this like 1,001 meters up to
Yeah.
the. You have to be like you have to know what you're doing. You have to have like these metal things, the chains around the
Yeah.
tires. So for me, it was a stress. I only had a stress of making sure that people come up to the hotel safe. And people was like, when are the final? When are the prize ceremony? Because I'm going to book the flight home. Don't book it 3 hours after the prize ceremony because there could be a snowstorm. There could be, I don't know, mooses on the. It's like you have to have 6, 7, 8 hours to play
Yeah.
with. So for me, it was the biggest stress was that part because we didn't have any problems to fill the spots.
Do you think that was so stressful because it's something you can't really control? Like where you
Yeah,
can control everything else, like you can control who comes, and you can control the timing, you can
Yeah.
control the time of the prize giving, but you can't control me booking my flight home. Like, so it's is that, do you think it's relinquishing control that you didn't like leaving it up to someone else kind of?
Yeah, because you don't play with snow, ice, snowstorm. Snowstorm is not rainstorm.
Yeah,
Snowstorm is like you can't drive. It
yeah.
can be, it can come 3 hours, 3 meters of snow in a half an hour.
Hmm.
Then you're fucked. Then you're on the hotel for 3 days.
Yeah.
And when people are gonna travel to Africa, we had a woman from Africa, from Namibia, and she had never seen or felt snow in her whole life. She was like, oh, yeah, it's gonna be cold, yeah. It's gonna be snow, yeah. Real snow, yeah. Are you sure? Yeah. So it's gonna be snow, the white things in frost, yeah. I've never, I have never felt snow in my life. The first thing I want to do is to make a snow angel. So we did it. We actually did it together. I have it on my Instagram. So me and her, we did it together, and that was the biggest stress. We even had an event outside.
Was it hard? Was insurance and stuff like that hard? Would say like that ski slope event. Like, was it hard to get insurance and stuff sorted for that, or is it kind
No,
of
because we did it only did a running.
okay?
We had IDs. We had crazy. Yeah, bobsled. We're gonna have skiing. We're gonna have downhill, slalom. But yeah, well, we ended up with a really cool and nice 3.5K run.
Yeah, I was thinking when you were talking about that girl from Africa, I was like, I'd say she wasn't too fucking fond of snow at the end of that event. She's probably like, yeah, I've had my fill now. That's enough.
People love that run because
Yeah,
they could
just
run
the
up the
spectacle
mountain.
of it was
Yeah, they
insane.
could run up the mountain. The owner of the hotel was standing in a classic Norwegian outfit with the shotgun. 3, 2, 1, go! And snowmobiles on the sides, the snowmobile in front of the pack, snowmobile in the back, camera guys in the snowmobile. That feeling is like, look at that.
Yeah, yeah,
That feeling when you do a run and you have a snowmobile and a guy sitting reversed and having a camera, that like people went like
yeah,
sprint and then they start walking because
yeah.
the mountain was so no, yeah. I really enjoyed it, and of course that was a stressful thing, but it went really good, and we were really happy with the results. And yeah,
It's interesting though, because even like that event, like, probably not great for spectators because unless you're going to run alongside the athletes, you're only going to see a certain amount of it. But
mm.
like, if you just put yourself in the athletes' positions, like that's something that you'd never forget doing,
Oh
like taking part in. Like, you might forget the 5K on the bike indoors in 2 years' time. Someone might remind you, like, oh yeah, I kind of remember that. Whereas if someone says, oh, do you remember the time you did the ski slope run? Like, it's instantaneous. There's going to be like memories that will never fade for people. Like, think that girl going back to Africa being like, I ran off a ski slope. Like,
yeah, I saw a podcast from a guy from Spain from the athlete team, the athlete programming,
mm,
I think one of those guys has a podcast, and he was like asked which his best CrossFit memory was from 2020, and it was like the Norwegian CrossFit Championship, and that
mm,
the run was like epic because when you come up the mountain, it's like you can see for I don't know so many 10,000
mm,
kilometers. It's like never ending. It's mountains of mountains. Because we probably see 100 mountains,
mm.
and to do that together with really fit athletes from all over the world, people from Mexico running up in the snow. They are asking, can you run in your nanos? No, you should have a trail shoes. You should have some really good grip. Oh, it's gonna be slippery, buddy. It's snow. You're gonna go up from a ski slope. It's like, yeah. So but people had too much clothes on, so they have like winter jackets.
Yeah, yeah.
It was a nice weather. It was not so cold, and was nice to see the start because it was up the mountain and the end was down on the backside and people coming running really fast. Except
What's
Rolly who was not walking.
what's
Actually,
sorry, go
actually
on.
one girl, I have to say, the girl started 5 minutes after the boys. There's one girl that cut up to Rolly and one over Rolly. So 5 minutes. And
Plus,
yeah,
what's the best event then? You mentioned that you've done other events. What's the best event you've taken part in? Is there something that you view as like, okay, if I was to do it again, I want to surpass that event or I want to be at the level of
event
that
or a
event?
competition.
Competition.
Uh, I really enjoyed Woodapalooza.
Hmm.
I did a Grotlet in Woodapalooza.
Yeah.
Even if I just landed from a 14 hours flight and I had 20 minutes from the cab to the competition floor, uh, jet set and everything, I was like, to be a part of probably the biggest CrossFit festival in the world, just be a part of it and be on that competition floor was so epic. It was so cool. Uh, and that was probably the best CrossFit experience I had in my life because that was like 45,000 people, 6, 7, 8 arenas,
Yeah, it's insane.
CrossFit everywhere. Was like that was really really cool. The same thing that as a small event in Sweden that called Sweden Summer Throwdown. It's on the Bayside in Sweden. It's about just next to some beaches. It's a really nice team of three competition,
Hmm.
and I love team competitions. And I have done that competition 3 or 4 years in a row. It's really really nice. It's like, but they play around a little bit with CrossFit and have a. They don't do only old school. They try to tune and tweak and do
Yeah,
something
yeah.
new and odd objects and swim runs and stand up paddleboard and jumping rope, 2-person jumping rope jumping, and so you never understand what you always get it like the same day.
Yeah, yeah.
Today you're gonna do stand up paddleboard. So yeah,
In order to get the Norwegian championships to where it is, then is there sacrifices you had to make, or do you think it was just consistent hard work? Like,
no, the sacrifice for our part this year, the last time was we chose to be at a spot that will probably would give us some extra exposure on the media for being on a ski resort and snow and pushing that element. And that was like a struggle from our sponsors because we couldn't have 5, 6, 7, 8,000 people on the stands. We could have 400.
mm,
400 was full.
yeah,
So it was a big discussion between me and my partners of Roger, should we go to Oslo and have a super arena? No. I was like decided and to have a unique event that really showed what Scandinavia are famous of, the nature and the winter and the snow, and Norway are really famous of it. So that was a big sacrifice, and but I think in the end we didn't get so much people on site. But if you look at the numbers of the exposure on social media and on live streams, and we had like a lot higher than many other events that had like
mm,
super arenas or in the middle of a big city. Our numbers was really good, and I think because we really did a lot of work on the social media and did a lot of marketing, and we had a good people that supported us. Craig Ritchie, Morning Chalk Up, Talkative Fitness. Everybody was there, and they really helped us to make it big enough so our sponsors were happy.
yeah. I would have gone if I was asked, but I would have only been exposure to another like 3 or 4 people, so it probably wouldn't have been worth your while.
Next time, next time,
Yeah.
next time you have your own booth.
Yeah. Speaking of next time, obviously, like, there's been so many changes at HQ. You've got, like, say Dave and then Eric taking over. Like, then you've got COVID and everything that came with that, and all the events being postponed, cancelled, pushed back, and then a lot of rumors and a lot of, like, oh, apparently this is happening, and I heard this is happening, and he said, she said, kind of stuff. Like, do you have kind of a sense of foreboding about the future of sanctions and stuff, or are you? Because I know I read a couple of quotes that you gave when Eric took over, saying how thrilled you were and, like, that it's in good hands and that kind of stuff on a few different, like, media outlets and stuff. But, like, obviously, with big change in that area, it's obviously going to affect other things, and he's been uh quite honest, I suppose, about, like, how he's not sure, like, what's going to happen. And then I think Dave has been pretty open about how he's not maybe the biggest fan of sanctionals, like that. You know, he's constantly doing, like, regional throwbacks and stuff. So he's pretty clear where his mind is at. Like, as an event organizer and someone who's built something up to be a sanctional, are you kind of worried about the future of it? Or are you like, no, I'm happy with where I've gotten to, and I'll move on to the next challenge with it, whatever it is? Or are you determined to still remain a part of the landscape, if you know what I mean?
Honestly, um, we had meetings with the Dave. Almost, I had meeting with Dave and Justin and the HQ and the sanctionals directors a couple of times, and we had a meeting last just for a week ago where they explain how what they want to do for the 2021 season, and it's going to be a big change again, and but will not be a change that we're not used to. So, and it's going to be a blow for us sanctional directors just on the path to games.
Mm-hmm.
But if you want to go, if we as a sanctional directors want to work with CrossFit and do competitions together with CrossFit, it's going to be a lot of different options.
Okay.
So whatever happens, I'm never gonna stop doing CrossFit competition, and I'm gonna work with CrossFit as long as they have that approach that they have right now, and that vision that together with Eric and some of the original staff as Justin Berg or Dave Castro. They presented a really solid idea, and I really like the new format. And hopefully, I'm going to, of course, we want to have the golden ticket to the games.
Mm.
And I think I have my region is Scandinavia. That's what it says on my contract. Scandinavia and Sweden, Norway, Denmark, Finland. Together, we have a big chunk of the total amount of open athletes. If you count the numbers, and I would really. It would be wrong to not have an event in Scandinavia, Sweden, Norway, Denmark. I think it's a place where you should have a sanction event or what it's going to be called, and because of the attendings from open or regionals or games or sanctionals or podium spots, Scandinavia always been a strong position. And yeah, it's stressful. It's a little bit stressful, but
Is
we
it
get
kind of made worse when the idea that they have is an idea that you like, when it's not? So, like, say if they're coming to
everybody
you,
used to like fuck that idea. I don't believe
yeah,
in it. See ya.
yeah, it's easier when
But
it's that way. Like, when you could be
yeah,
like, no, that's shit. Like, my idea is better.
yeah. Of course. But for me, uh, I'm not so egoistic. I think for me, it's really, really, really important that CrossFit finds their way back to what they are and should be, and what how people should see CrossFit the sport. And I really, really hope that Eric and the team behind Eric for really find a way to making it as big as it's supposed to be, because that is why I started with CrossFit. I was watching these CrossFit Games free films, and I was watching Rich Froning on his crazy workouts in the barn, that was like feel my interest of going to affiliate and do my first training. And I had my first team workout and I got the virus, the CrossFit virus, and I have never had a better life.
Mm.
I have never had better friends. I have never had better fitness, and I have never had a better healthy life. Not pure by CrossFit, but what around everything that
Yeah.
you get built of CrossFit. I was married for what I got married for 1.5 year ago, I think, around ish. And of those 65 guests, 30 of them do CrossFit
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
from CrossFit.
Yeah.
So those were so much more closer than cousins or people that I never talked to. So that explains how what comes out from the community of CrossFit is like
Yeah.
you really make good friends.
Yeah.
Like you can't cheat.
Yeah.
You can't cheat in CrossFit. You can if you go to the nightclub, you can say, "I'll buy a big bottle of champagne," and I say I'm a millionaire. Or, I do whatever. But you can't say I can do Fran in 2.5 minutes. Okay, do it.
Yeah.
You can't say you can lift 200 kilos deadlift. Do it. So it's so naked. It's so built on honesty. Some people do steroids or whatever, but they still have to do a lot of workouts.
Mm.
It doesn't come for free, even if you do some whatever. But so yeah, I'm a super supporter of CrossFit, what CrossFit gives, and I was really sad when this Greg Glassman thing exploded, and I'm really happy, super happy when CrossFit found, Eric Rosa found CrossFit, and they like really went in and did a big rescue. And right now it feels like everybody is like, let's make it big again.
Yeah.
So yeah, for me it's like really important. Yeah.
What's your own, say, personal plans then for, we'll say next year? We'll assume a vaccine is found, hopefully tomorrow. We'll say like next year, like how do you plan on being part of, say, obviously you're going to do your own training and your own competitions, like, your own personal stuff, but outside of that, how do you plan on being part of the landscape of CrossFit, I suppose, globally and in Norway?
Yeah, I think me as a Swedish guy living in Norway, but I have really close ties to Denmark. I want to be a part. I want to be a key person that help the Scandinavian community get to feel that CrossFit are seeing them out there and being a supporter for the community in Scandinavia. And right now, it is something I really work with. I travel around to the different affiliates, both in Sweden as soon as I can, as much as I can, like during these COVID situations. And in Norway, I try to meet as much members and athletes and affiliate owners as I can to, because I'm around the table. I get invited to the table of CrossFit, and I talk to the key players in CrossFit almost every week.
Mm.
And they ask, you ask about the Norwegian community and everything, and my answers are not only my answers. I
Yeah, I
have a
get you.
responsibility as a part of the table to talk what people think, and I do. I really take that super serious. I ask the people, what do you think is important? What's your issues, or why do you love CrossFit, or what would you change if you could? Is it right for me to have the event on a ski resort, or should I go to Oslo or Stockholm for let more people to come inside the arena and see the events? So I listen a lot on the people, and I try to gather all the information, all the thoughts, and all the concerns from all over the place. And so when I talk to you, or I talk to Dave or Justin or Eric Rose or whatever, I try to be a voice from Scandinavia. And I will really love to see that CrossFit will open a office in Scandinavia, like they have in UK or Germany or France or wherever. Because I think the Scandinavian community deserves to have a closer path to the office and feel the presence of CrossFit more. And that's what people said when Scandinavia getting a sanctional. So finally, they say us. Finally, they come here and they being a part of the Scandinavian community that is strong. We have 12,000 people doing open in Scandinavia, Sweden, Norway, Denmark. So it's a lot of people. There's only 66,000 people doing open in Europe. So it's 1/6 is from Scandinavia. So that is something I really work against as a sanctional director, using that position more than just doing a competition.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think I'm kind of I didn't know a lot about you before talking to you. I knew obviously that you started the event and that you're the director of the event and stuff, but and I knew that you trained as well. But I think I'm impressed with your I didn't know that about the motorcycle. That's pretty impressive that you came back from that. But even you've got the community's values at heart, I think, which is always admirable, because it's easy, I suppose, especially when it's a big event and stuff, and when things start to grow, it's easy to start off maybe with that in mind, that you're, all about the community and you want to grow it and you want to support it and stuff. But then it can be easy to kind of lose sight of that. And I think it's admirable that you've maintained that. Like I said at the very start, I think yourself and Drina and Jamie, they'd be the two that I'd hold up, the two events that I'd hold up as the community is there and is involved as much as is humanly possible. And then after that, like you say, the athletes are important and everything else. But I think it's admirable that you've kept that, the nugget of the community at the center of it. And I think it's clear from what you're saying that conversations you're having on behalf of the community are showing that as well. So I think I wish you luck with everything that you've got going on, and with what seems to me like a regional in Scandinavia that you're hinting at. Hopefully it comes off, because I think that'd be pretty cool to see.
Yeah, if it's not going to be an event in Scandinavia, it's going to be something in Scandinavia.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think so. I really hope so.
Well, look, thanks a million. Best of luck, and
Thanks,
enjoy
man.
the rest of your day.
I'm gonna drink a coffee tonight only because of you. I'm gonna try a coffee today.
Yeah, tag me on Instagram if you do. tag me on Instagram when you're puking into the sink.
Yeah, and I can't sleep for a week because all of the caffeine.
Cheers, man. Thanks very much.
Thank you, buddy.
Bye.